Hey guys, this is SeetherCord here, and welcome to a new video for you guys today. For today's video, we're going to be discussing a very huge controversy involving one very well-known fursuit maker. And actually, this was a fursuit maker that was one of the original ones that I originally wanted to go to about 4 or 5 years ago to get a fursuit commissioned by them. However, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this fursuit maker, and this fursuit maker is known as DontHugCacti. Before we get into the video discussing the whole drama and situation, I want you guys to know that I have to give a huge shout out to KhramChee for a lot of the help when it came to the research and the production of the script for this video. Anyways, with that all being said and out of the way, let's now begin with exactly what caused this whole controversy with the fursuit maker known as DontHugCacti. Let's begin. In September of 2020, a document was posted on Twitter by a user under the @of_Cutins. This document was a recollection of information regarding issues related to Blonde Foxy, otherwise known as Lucky Coyote. The person mentioned before is a very well-known artist, especially because she and her boyfriend own one of the most famous fursuit-making companies, DontHugCacti. The fursuits themselves are adorable and over time have gotten notoriety for their style and high quality. But as soon as the Google document with the information was made public, the view of the furry fandom changed completely, and here's why. The document opens with a summary of everything you will see in the document, and quote, "A forewarning that this document contains brief, text-only descriptions of manipulation, with a significant age difference as well as inappropriate contact with minors, sexual contact with animals, animal abuse/neglect, and instances of verbal and emotional abuse. This was not a pleasant document to compile and write, but it will not be a pleasant document to read. So please proceed with caution." I am not going to get into too much detail because this document is close to 100 pages long, and there are multiple victims with different stories and situations, and if we were to touch every single one, this video would get too long. Instead, we will go over the most important points in my opinion. Let's start with manipulation and There are instances in this document where we can see Lucky talking to people, both minors and adults, in a sexual manner, and she seems completely oblivious to their discomfort in the situation. She would manipulate them into very uncomfortable situations and then talk bad about them behind their back, in some cases exaggerating what happened or even changing the story just to make them look bad. In one of these instances, she managed to groom a person into a Then this person politely asked her to keep this a secret because this person didn't even want to do this in the first place. Lucky promised that it would stay between the two of them and shortly after proceeded to spread the word about what happened with her friends. I have also seen many mentions of the same behavior of bombarding someone with love and affection and then after getting what she wanted. Lucky would just completely ignore someone, delete them from her fan group in Telegram, or block them anywhere, and often leaving the person utterly confused about why she did so. And lastly, there are parts where she says she hates her clients. This, in my opinion, makes no sense. Why would you start a business if you are not enjoying what you're doing? I understand that there can be annoying customers, but in this document, there is one moment where they mention a photo shoot and she didn't want to be there. She was acting negative and angry over the fact that she would have to see the people who bought her a fursuit in person. But then, once they arrived, her attitude would change and she'd act all happy, just to change back to being annoyed after they left. Now that's what she did to humans. The second thing I consider important in this document is the animal abuse history that she has documented. And most of the evidence in this part of the document was recollected from her public post on her social media. Some of them are still public for the viewers. There are multiple posts she made herself detailing the suffering of other animals. I'll be leaving some of the screenshots here so you can pause and read, or if you'd like to see them in a higher quality, please go check the link in the description where all of these stories are told in full detail. There are mentions of multiple times where she would adopt an animal and either immediately rehome them, kill them herself, or leave them out in the yard to die. She owned rabbits, cats, dogs, birds, and a few other animals. Majority of these were either put down or died in her hands. The lucky few survivors were rehomed. Lucky happened to have friends very knowledgeable in animal care. One of them was a well-trained bird owner who told her that she needed to stop treating her bird in a certain way because if she continued, the bird would end up developing behavioral issues. Lucky ended up talking behind his friend's back, calling them nosy know-it-alls for trying to help her out. She owned rabbits at some point but never paid good attention to them. She had a fenced wall in her yard and let them roam free and reproduce as they pleased. You know how fast rabbits can make babies, right? Well, they grew from 5 to 15 and so on faster than Lucky could handle. Her rabbits were even escaping and getting eaten by the wildlife around her area. No one really knows what happened to them. She claimed that she gave them to other people through Craigslist. These two stories were an example of what Lucky would do, be seen doing, and be telling her friends about her amazing animal care. But it doesn't end there, guys. Another important point, which is related to the last one, is her tendencies. We don't need to go too far here. As of the making of this video, Lucky still has artwork of her persona and a German Shepherd dog in a way that I can't show here. Just keep in mind that she owned a German Shepherd. Multiple people are mentioning that she was not shy at all when it came to talking about this. She even mentioned to one of these people that her first time was with a dog, with her family dog. There's also one detail mentioned here, and that is her persona has a paw design on her body in a very specific part, in a very specific position. This has been noted to be a way identify each other in the furry fandom. They either use the letter Z from the Greek alphabet or a paw placed on the character in a very specific way. Let me clarify here. The paw design information may not apply to everybody though. Some people can even get a tattoo of their dog's paw as a way to pay tribute to it or something like that. So please don't go around assuming that anyone who has a paw imprint somewhere is automatically a zoophile. Okay? Lastly, I would like to talk about her closed-minded way of thinking. There are stories being told in this part of the document. Stories where we can see that Lucky did not emphasize with the people she would often call friends. She had transgender friends. These people would have her very high up there in terms of trust and safety, yet she would not accept them. She would deny them when they would ask to be referred with the right pronouns after starting their transition. She would avoid using their new name and repeatedly dead name them. That is, use the person's old name, which is considered very disrespectful when it comes to trans people. She would say that these people just didn't experience sex the right way, and other very close-minded and undermining terminology that would end up hurting them and their feelings. One of her friends, a person that was mentioned to be one of the longest-lasting friends of Lucky Coyote, tells the story where this person would just not complain anymore. They made an exception for Lucky to keep dead naming them and misgendering them, all because they were afraid of losing this friendship. And yet it turned out to be one of the people that Lucky would later on block in all social media out of nowhere with zero explanation as to why she would do such a thing to them. This is not the only friend she had that was transitioning, and Lucky would go on to tell most of them the same thing. She would tell them that they were just mere teenagers who were confused because of the whole hormone change that goes on at their age, and that they would get things sorted out soon. This was her excuse to not do the small effort to support her friends. You may be thinking that this could all be solved if someone faced her with the truth. Well, the document has plenty of moments where this happened. She would often be called out on both public posts in social media, her fan group, in Telegram, and also both in private messages and in person. Her reaction to any kind of criticism was one out of two options. Either talk shit about this person behind their back, and because she was a big creator, people would just believe her and block or disapprove of this person's opinion just because Lucky said so. Or simply block them everywhere and stop talking to this person ever again, and it didn't matter if you were friends for many years and seemed to have become very close to Lucky. As long as you had a different opinion than she did, she would just do anything she had in her hands to delete you off of her life. This would make sense if what she was being told was some hateful comments, but it was being said by her close friends, by people who cared about her animals, about her other friends, but she would just be stubborn and not care about their opinion. What about her boyfriend? I asked myself while reading this whole thing, and the answer to this is, he's an enabler. He just excuses her behavior with, she's just that way, to anyone who would approach him with these issues. He would often be seen walking on eggshells around her because it seems Lucky was the dominant one in this relationship, and her boyfriend would just do anything just to keep her happy. But this unstable way of living would also end up in them fighting in front of their friends, even physically sometimes. He's of no help in this either. He's on her side and it's understandable. It's his girlfriend, but man, you gotta admit when your special one's wrong too, and not let her go as far as she's gone too. Now, before you go grab your pitchforks and go after this fursuit maker, let me read you a small section of the closing statement, please, end quote. We are not a band of haters or jealous ex-friends, like Lucky likes to paint us as. We are concerned about our fandom and about Lucky. It is not our intention to run Lucky out of the fandom, but to hold her accountable for her incredibly inappropriate behavior and misuse of her platform. We hope that this will protect future victims from falling prey to her and make our community a safer place for everyone. As you heard, these people did not write this with the intention of creating a wave of threats to be sent towards DontHugCacti or Lucky Coyote. So please, I'd rather you don't go after these people. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video is because there was one thing that happened in regards to this situation being brought to light with an even bigger wave of attention. The person who made the Twitter post actually got a cease and desist from the fursuit company DontHugCacti recently. They were saying that this document ruined their reputation and demanded Qtins to delete it or else. Qtins is now looking for legal advice and needs help with money to pay for the lawyer and keep this information public. So please, if you can, go to her GoFundMe and her Twitter page and help with donations, because this should not be silenced. People's bad behavior should be called out, especially if it is mostly public on social media. I want to keep a positive mind in this situation though, and I hope you agree with me. If in any case Lucky or anyone close to her sees this video and gets to the end, I want to let you know that while it hurts to read, you've hurt so many people and animals. I don't hate you over what you did. On the other hand, I do think that you need help. Please go to therapy and get these issues addressed. Fighting constantly with your partner is not okay. Taking exceedingly big responsibilities like exotic animals out of the feeling of the moment without being ready for giving them proper care shows that there is a lot of maturing to do. Stopping communication with very old friends over a small disagreement is wrong, and I've seen that these are a repeated behavior, so please, Lucky, get help. We want you to address this, overcome it, and become a better person. Good luck. You can do it. Anyways, that has pretty much been this video for you guys today. Thank you again, KhramChee, so much for all the help when it came to making this video. If you guys enjoy my content or her content, all that will be linked down in the description down below. If you enjoy my content and want to further help out my channel, make sure you donate to my Patreon as well as my Ko-fi. Remember to smash the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe all together. I have been SeetherCord, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.